Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about sim racing as a beginner, being a beginner to sim racing. And what I say by beginner to sim racing is actually getting a cockpit, getting a wheel, getting set up, getting yourself, selecting the best games or simulation games for your experience. Now, I know I do a lot of these type of videos with Assetto Corsa Competizione. That is because, in my opinion, out of everything that I've tried, this here is the absolute best that I really like. So last video we did Watkins Glen. I think this time we're going to do Mount Panorama, the Bathurst. I don't know if this one here is usually a pretty tough circuit for a lot of people. A lot of people kind of struggle with Mount Panorama and stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna drive this and talk about beginning in sim racing and stuff. So in my opinion, okay, and this is me coming from somebody that pretty much went into this like blind. I didn't watch a whole bunch of YouTube videos or anything, and I've pretty much just sat here and taught myself everything that I know about sim racing, because there's a lot of habits that you're gonna have. Somebody mentioned this in one of the videos under one of my videos the other day, because and it is true, and this is something you should probably know, is you're gonna have a lot of different types of habits that you will have built over the years playing racing games on a controller, whereas when you're behind the wheel in a sim racer with a wheel setup and everything, that experience is significantly more different. It is going to mimic the experience that you're going to have on a car. Oh, yeah, when you got cold tires, man. Ooh, boy. Yeah, we need to go back to the garage, man. We need to restart this one. See, I love this game, and these are the reasons why. If you're not paying attention on Assetto Corsa Competizione and you get bit, you get called out. It's gonna affect the driving and stuff. So we're gonna start over, and I'm gonna pay attention at least until my tires are kind of warmed up, so that I've got some pretty decent grip, because I overcorrected that a little bit too much and hit that wall. So let's go ahead and at least get these tires kind of warm, get these tire brakes warmed up and stuff, because once we got warmed up, then we'll be able to take these turns a lot freaking better. We'll be a lot better off. And one of the things that I like to do as a beginner, is go through here and learn these tracks. Learn the shifting and all your braking points and all of that, because it's gonna be, it is pretty much the same with a controller or whatever, but it's also a lot more. I think my tires are starting to get a little bit more warmed up, but we don't want to just... Alright, let's see. So the hardest part of Mount Panorama or Bathurst is up there in that top section and stuff. You can get caught out pretty easy because of a lot of the blind turns and stuff up there. So you really need to pay attention to your overall braking and stuff like that, gear shifting, speed of entry and going into some of these turns and stuff. That kind of stuff will really help you master a track like freaking Bathurst. this is one of my favorite tracks ever. Like I tend to gravitate towards the more difficult tracks. So you want to just kind of slow in here, stay away from those curbs, kind of come out here a little bit wide or whatever. But all right, now that I feel like the car is kind of a little bit more warmed up, now we can talk about what I was going to talk to you about in the first place. Like being a beginner to sim racing, you're going to have to learn to crawl before you can walk. Like you'll want to sit here and just do a lot of laps and stuff, and you know, get used to it. Get used to how the freaking to the game, how the games feel and stuff. So, like I was saying about, you know, playing some of these games on a controller and stuff. Like if you're playing them on a controller, you're gonna have a lot of that baggage. And one of my friend or somebody in the community said, and I think this might actually be a pretty decent idea, is pick a game that you've never played on a controller, like a racing game, so that you can start getting used to that and building that. Because here's the thing, like once you learn how to do pretty good in one game and you learn the tracks in one game, that knowledge carries over with you. And so the way one game feels might not always feel the same. Like Assetto Corsa Competizione to me is kind of like the gold standard. You see like how like my car jumps around when I go around different spots like that? A lot of games don't have that. And so when you hit those bumps and those undulations and stuff, and you feel that in your car, and you're not used to that because you've been driving like other games and they don't offer that, they don't simulate that effect that like a track like Bathurst has, it can really put you off and like really make you think like, oh man, this game sucks. But this is probably closer to how it probably should feel. And I knew immediately the first time I ever played Assetto Corsa Competizione that this game here was absolutely freaking special. Like this game here was absolutely special to me. I've always loved the way the cars feel, the way they sound, all of that stuff. Like playing this and playing something like, oh, and let me tell you, you guys are getting Nordscythe on May 5th for the Xbox and the PlayStation if you're using that. But like a game like Assetto Corsa Competizione, the way that these tracks feel compared to like other games and stuff, like this is a lot more dangerous, my friends. You just want to be able to make sure that you're paying attention on Assetto Corsa, because like coming through this part on other games, man, this feels like a lot more. This feels a lot more realistic on here. But yeah, man, like being a beginner, it's gonna be tough. It's definitely tough. I feel like it took me probably until I got a direct drive wheel, to be completely honest, to where I was actually starting to beat my controller. And then the funny thing is, oh, you see that? And then the funny thing is after I started getting more used to like playing on a wheel, it was a lot harder for me to go back and play with a controller. But I did after a while. I went back and I started learning how to play on a controller again too, because I was getting a lot better with. I was getting a lot better with a wheel, so I was like, oh my gosh! And believe it or not, like that'll translate over to the controller too. It just doesn't translate one way back to the other though. Like going from a controller to a wheel, you're gonna struggle. But going from a wheel back to a controller and baking in some of the stuff that you learned is a lot easier. This track feels a lot more bumpy than it normally does. Sorry guys, I gotta pay attention for a second. This is a tough track. And I haven't really taken this car track combo a lot. I've mostly been in like a McLaren. I don't switch cars a lot in sim racing. I try to learn a car because then I know how that car is going to feel on that track. I feel like the first time that like I really fell in love with this track though was on Gran Turismo Sport with that T150. Coming through here on a wheel for the first time was like, whoa, that was freaking cool, man. Like I just couldn't get enough of it. And there is, I want to talk about games like Forza and Gran Turismo for a second too, because those games right there, in my opinion, while they're good, once you know how a game like Assetto Corsa performs or something else, like those games are still good and they're fun and obviously they're good to play and good for reproof and all of that stuff, but they feel way too good to be true, man. Like you can really set in some bad habits playing those games and stuff. And I mean, I know you guys have seen like some of these other guys that do like the Gran Turismo videos online, and you see like the other people in there, the way they're driving and stuff, and the things that they're doing. Like that kind of stuff wouldn't fly in a game like Assetto Corsa Competizione. Like your car would be smashed, you'd be out of the race, like you wouldn't be able to continue. And so when you get in a car like in Gran Turismo where you just kind of bounce off the wall and like nothing, and there's like no real repercussions of that, it just continues to enable you to build up negative reinforcement for sim racing. That's why I don't play a lot of Gran Turismo. Like I don't think that game really does anything to, you know, better my driving ability, because it's just it's not the kind of experience you really want. Like I would recommend like Project Cars or Assetto Corsa Competizione for sim racing, and Forza's definitely more on the right path to teaching you, but it's still got its little quirks and stuff like that as well that can kind of, you know, help you ingrain like negative habits and stuff when it comes to sim racing. You want something that's a little bit more realistic, that's going to punish you if you're not doing, you know, what you're supposed to be doing. Well, I mean, maybe you don't want that. Maybe you just want to have fun. Maybe you just want to be able to bounce your car off the stuff, and that's fine. Like, you need to decide what kind of racer or what kind of sim racer you want to be. Do you want to be like a Gran Turismo guy, or do you want to really learn and like really value the rules and the way the cars feel, and learn in a more holistic way how sim racing really works and, you know, really feels and stuff. I don't know, man. Like I find myself struggling a lot when it comes to games like Forza and Gran Turismo nowadays, man. It really does kind of take a toll on you, you know, once you're doing that. You have the potential to learn so many bad things with those type of games. So I don't really usually recommend those, but they are good if you're just trying to have fun, if you just want to come home from work and relax and enjoy the setup that you bought and stuff. Like, those games are fine. They're fine. They're perfectly fine for that. But, you know, once you start getting into like these other realistic sim racers, that's why I don't get online with anybody yet, because I still question my ability to really be good or keep up with the pack, and I don't want to be in people's way, and I don't want to, you know, ruin their you know, their safety rating and stuff because I'm running into people and stuff like that. So I haven't done a whole lot of that yet. I'm still practicing after 5 years. I'm pretty much still practicing how to get better. Your practice will never end. It will just keep going and going and going. And that's a good thing, you know. That's why, you know, you want to have a good setup that's really going to help you be the best that you can be. And that's why, you know, I'm like, yeah, you want a direct drive wheel. Like, you definitely want one of these. I mean, I always just thought they were like for rich people and stuff, and people that spend a lot of money, but these things are actually quite affordable for a lot of different models. Even this Fanatec right here is a beast. 8 Newton meters, that's a beast, you know. For the price of that thing, definitely you want to spend the extra money on a direct drive wheel. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, like our whole thing was to talk about being new to sim racing. I'm gonna downshift right there because that gets a little bit it gets a little whatchamacallit, aggressive in through there. But I mean, being new to sim racing, the biggest thing to take away from this is that it's gonna take time, my friends. It's gonna take time. You're gonna struggle at first. You're gonna have to learn things. You're gonna have to reteach yourself basically everything that you've learned from playing video games to actually being in a situation to where you have real control and you're using more of your body to actually, you know, enjoy these experiences. And it really is night and day from a controller of how good a racing game feels. You know, like when you're sitting here and you got your left hand hitting that freaking shifter, that down shifter, or you're shifting up and you're braking, you know, on your load cell pedals, and you're pushing them down, you know, kind of hard, slowing down your car and stuff. Like, yeah, dude, like this is awesome. Like the feeling you get, you know, feeling like each one of these bumps as you come around a corner and you see the dashboard shake and you actually feel that bump. I mean, it's immersive. The immersion is so high when you're on a wheel, and if you do it in VR, oh my gosh, the immersion's even higher. Like the immersion in VR is so incredible, it's not even funny. Come on, PlayStation. Let me use my PSVR 2 on my PC already for Assetto Corsa Competizione. It's gonna be so great, guys. It's gonna be so amazing. Yeah, dude. Sim racing when you're new is very frustrating. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It is very frustrating, but it's so worth it because this is something that you actually feel yourself getting significantly better as the time goes on, man. Like as time goes on, you start hitting corners, and you start hitting brake zones, and you just start getting good, and you feel yourself getting faster. You feel yourself getting better. You feel your skills enhancing and becoming stronger, and it's so cool, man. Like it is just so cool to be able to get in these cars, man, and drive basically whatever you want from the comfort of your own room or living room or house or home or wherever you're freaking doing it. You can drive your favorite cars and have fun doing it, and it feels immersive, man. The immersion level of sim racing is so much higher than you're ever going to get out of a controller. And I do feel, you know, I don't know, man. We definitely need more sim racers out there. We definitely need more people out there really enjoying the racing experience. Honestly, if you love racing games and you like playing them, and it's something that you can sit there for hours like I used to on like Gran Turismo and Need for Speed and all of that stuff, you absolutely want this next level of the experience. Like you do. There's just nothing more satisfying than pulling off some of these braking zones or pulling off some of these turns and stuff and feeling like the way the freaking wheel moves under you and everything. Yeah, this is so rewarding and so nice, and you get a physical workout, man. Like fighting this freaking direct drive wheel through all this stuff. I mean, I know it looks easy, but I mean, yeah, dude, you like my arms feel it. Like it is a workout. Like you are getting a freaking nice little workout fighting a 12 Newton meter wheel. Like it's good. Like it feels good. You can feel it. You can feel the vibrations in the car, everything when you hit these bumps and stuff. It's just so freaking cool. And it really does kind of, you know, it really does trick your brain to make you really feel like you are actually driving a car and stuff. I mean, we're gonna do one more lap and then I'm gonna let you guys go. I mean, this is cool. This is probably my favorite you know, video game experience now. You know, I mean, you know, when you're first starting out, take it easy, man. Like, let yourself learn, let yourself adapt. Because you want to adapt. That's the main thing. Like, you need to adapt. You need to feel. You need to learn how to set up your equipment. You need to learn how to set your field of view and stuff like that. You need to find. There's so many. There's a lot of things, and I'm gonna be going over some of this stuff in future videos and stuff, like how to help you set your equipment up, how to get the best experience out of all of that. I mean, obviously you can just use like default settings or whatever, but you're not gonna really enjoy sim racing until you 100% have figured, like, until you've figured out how to dial in your settings, you know, through your force feedback, your field of view, seating position, like just all the other things that come along with sim racing and stuff. Learning how to set up your equipment, being able to adjust everything from your cockpit adjustments to, you know, your steering wheel software, stuff like that. Your brake software. Once you've learned how to do that, or at least gain the basics, that's when you're finally gonna notice. They're like, oh wow, man, things are getting better. They're cooler. You just have to, I mean, I guess the biggest thing you need to take away from this is it's going to take time, guys. It's going to take time. And then once it clicks, you're going to be like, oh my gosh. And that's when you'll freaking realize, that like, oh my gosh, I should have just spent more money on this because, wow, this is getting way good, but it could be even better. You don't need to go out of your way to spend like 20 grand for sim racing stuff, but I think a good couple of grand will put you in a good spot to where you've got a very nice setup that is competent and ready to go. I mean, $500-$600 for a cockpit, you know, $800-$900, $1,000 for a good direct drive setup with pedals and stuff. I think that would pretty much put you in a good position. So, all right, my friends, thank you guys so much for coming back and watching this. I know that this one was a little bit all over the place. I'm trying to get better at these, but you know what they say, man, practice makes perfect. And keep practicing and getting better, and you keep practicing your sim racing, and I'll keep practicing making my videos, and pretty soon we'll grow together. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.